My name is Veronica and my company is called Sacred Offerings, and basically I wanted to share some information about our bodies and how they are trying to evolve and awaken to the higher frequencies. Our souls, our spirits are very much more in tune with and aligned with these higher frequencies that we are moving into, and we may be finding some resistance when it comes to our bodies shifting, our bodies waking up to these frequencies. It may show up in terms of physical illnesses. Maybe it's showing up for you in terms of not being able to digest or ingest certain foods. Foods aren't quite as compatible. Maybe you've had an injury recently where it feels like, you were moving along just fine in a particular direction and suddenly you've been stopped in your tracks, so to speak. And it could be showing up as some sort of fatigue, absolutely the inability to move through the same patterns that you are used to moving through at the same speed. As we move into these higher frequencies, there are ways to help the body adapt. And the first and foremost thing would be to slow down as much as possible. So when we have sickness, a lot of times that is our body's way of telling us to stop, to slow down, to take it easy. And we do so only because we have to. So if you're getting that pulling and that sense that it is time to take things a little slower, then if you can, listen to your body. Get to bed no later than, say, 9 or 10 o'clock. Stay in bed to 7 o'clock if you can. Try to allow 8 hours at least of sleep if you need to. If you need to rest during the day, then do so. Trying to listen to our body is the first plan of action, let's say. The other thing I want to bring and to offer is this idea of shifting our inner being, our inner physical clocks, so to speak, or codes, so that we can be more in alignment with these higher frequencies. What showed up for me the other day, I was having an experience where I was relapsing with my own personal sickness, and what bothered me was it felt like I had already done the fever, I had already done the sickness, and I didn't understand what was the pulling, what was the resistance. So I went in there in terms of inwardly looking for the answer, what was going on, and did some inner meditation and spoke with my guides and got some insights. Basically, what's happened is as we've moved into these higher frequencies, our bodies are having a hard time, only because, not only, there are lots of reasons, but one of the reasons is because the clocks or our codes are set in a way that is not so conducive for these higher frequencies. And what it showed me was it's as if our bodies are encoded with numbers. The stream of numbers aren't necessary to know, or how many numbers are in the coding isn't as necessary to know. But just to give an example, a newly incarnated physical being, a being that has not been used to having the higher frequency soul embodied in it, may have less numbers to its combination. Maybe it's a 4-digit combination. Beings that are used to maintaining the higher frequency of the higher beings may have a longer frequency of, or a longer sequence of numbers. So maybe they would have 6 digits. But more importantly is that each of these digits are either numbered, let's say 0 through 9. And in that realm, it may feel as if we have an infinite number of combinations available to us because, numbers can be combined in many different ways. So more awakened souls may feel like they have, let's say, 5 or 6 numbers in their combination, and each of those can be encoded and shifted and changed to allow them greater capacity. And it can feel as if we have all this possibility within us, and we do. What I was shown, however, is that those codes are still limited. So in other words, there may be a huge number of combinations that can be set and changed, which expands our possibilities, but they're still limited by the number. So with my guides, I went and surrendered my resistance and asked for support, and you can do so too. And what I did was I asked my guides to reset those numbers to the infinity symbol. So if you haven't really thought about what that looks like, is it looks like a sideways 8. So with meditation, with guidance, you can just go in and ask, angel guides, whether you want to see them as angels, if you want to ask a particular angel, whether it's Archangel Michael or any particular guides you work with, it doesn't matter, and ask for assistance to reset your codes to all be set, no matter, again, you don't have to know what the number was before, and you don't have to know how many were in the sequence, but to reset them all to the infinity symbol. And in doing so, that will open up the patterns within the physical body to align with the higher frequencies. If you've ever been to a chiropractor, let's say you've had an issue with a shoulder being out and a neck being tight, and you go to the chiropractor and she adjusts you, you may find that within a day or so you've gone back to default, you've gone back to your shoulder being tight because your muscles have been so used to being that way, or they're in such spasm that it kind of pulls your body back in the old pattern. It's advisable, to go back and get another adjustment, and then sometimes it may be a couple more weeks and then you get another adjustment. The same is going to be true for these codes being set. You may set them at infinity all the way across, but the body's resistance may be triggering it to go back. And so just be grateful that you are able to recognize this when you fall into any kind of resistance or patterns that are old and limiting, but also remember that your guides are here to help you, so go back and do it again. This may need to happen once in the morning as you wake, and again in the evening as you go to sleep, but the idea is to continue doing it until you feel like it doesn't need to be done anymore. So food for thought, an idea, not the only solution, but an idea to open up the patterning and let it become completely infinite, rather than feeling as if it's limitless, but really there's that set number that you can reach. The idea of the new era, the new awakened state of being, is complete empowerment, complete embodiment of this entirely new way of being, which is absolutely infinite and limitless. And so with that, if you practice this, I would love to get feedback from you. You can visit my website at sacred-offerings.com. Send me an email to let me know if this is working for you. And with that, all is truly well, and thank you very much.